Okay, let's be honest. As parents, caregivers, anyone raising a child, have you ever felt that moment? The one where you ask your child to do something, maybe something they really dislike, like getting their nails trimmed, taking a yucky medicine, putting on clothes they hate, or perhaps you just need them to come and talk to you about something that happened. And instead of even a grunt, a no, or a response of any kind, they just shut down? Or worse, you see that flicker in their eyes, that tense little posture, and then they turn, and they bolt. They run out of the room, dive behind the couch, scramble under the table, or maybe they race into their bedroom and slam the door shut, leaving you standing there, request hanging in the air, feeling utterly unheard, invisible. In those moments, it's so easy for our own feelings to kick in, isn't it? Frustration bubbles up, maybe a touch of anger. And often, we interpret that behavior, the running, the hiding, the silence, as disrespect, as a deliberate defiance. And in a way, from our adult perspective, it can feel like that. We asked something simple, maybe even something for their own good, and their response was to physically remove themselves from the situation entirely. It feels like a rejection, a power struggle initiated the moment we opened our mouths. We might think, they're just trying to get out of it, or they're being stubborn and disobedient. And while those things might be part of the picture, if we only see the behavior on the surface, we miss a much deeper opportunity. We miss the chance to understand why running away or avoiding feels like the child's best or only option in that moment. We miss the chance to connect, to teach, and to build a different way of handling difficult requests or conversations. Because often, that running isn't just about disrespect. It can be about fear. It can be about anxiety. It can be about feeling overwhelmed, out of control, unsure of how to handle uncomfortable physical sensations or challenging emotions. It can be about a lack of words to express their feelings, or past experiences that have taught them that speaking up doesn't help, but escaping might. This isn't about excusing the behavior. We absolutely need our children to cooperate with necessary tasks and to engage in important conversations. But how we respond to the running and avoiding makes all the difference in whether we escalate a conflict or gently guide them towards managing discomfort and engaging respectfully. In this video, we're going to dive deep into this exact scenario. We're going to look beyond the frustrating behavior of running and hiding and explore the why behind it. More importantly, we'll explore practical, compassionate, and effective ways you can respond in those moments, and how to build a foundation so that running away becomes less and less necessary for your child. We'll look at this not as a battle of wills, but as an opportunity to foster connection, teach coping skills, and build trust, even when the task at hand is something they truly dread. So, when you say, "Come here," and they bolt, what do you do next? Let's start by shifting our initial reaction, moving away from chasing and demanding, and towards understanding and inviting. One of the most powerful shifts we can make when a child runs away or avoids is to pause our immediate reaction to chase or force, and instead, take a moment to try and understand the feeling behind the behavior. Running away isn't a random act. It's a response to an internal state. Often, that state is some form of distress, fear, overwhelm, anxiety, or a strong feeling of "I can't handle this right now." Think about it from their perspective. Let's take the nail cutting example. Maybe they had a quick cut once that nicked the skin. Maybe they're ticklish and the sensation is truly unpleasant. Maybe they just hate being held still. When you say, "Come here, let me cut your nails," their brain might immediately flash back to that negative experience or anticipate discomfort. Running becomes a primitive self-preservation instinct. Escape the perceived threat. It's not necessarily a calculated move to defy you. It's an attempt to protect themselves from something they anticipate being unpleasant scary, or overwhelming. The same goes for taking medicine. It often tastes awful, or they might be scared of gagging. Putting on hated clothes might feel physically uncomfortable or socially embarrassing. And being called over to talk about what just happened often carries the weight of anticipated blame, shame, or punishment, especially if past experiences have been negative. Running away in these instances is often a way of saying, "I'm scared, I don't know how to handle this," or "I don't feel safe in this conversation right now." So, our first crucial step isn't to chase, but to acknowledge the likely feeling. This doesn't mean you let them off the hook. It means you meet the feeling first. Instead of yelling, "Get back here, don't you run away from me," or chasing after them with the nail clippers, you can pause, take a breath. And once you've regulated yourself a little, which is key, you can't help them regulate if you're escalated. You can try to name the feeling you think might be driving the behavior. This could look like standing where you are and saying, in a calm, perhaps slightly quieter voice than you used for the request, "Wow, you ran really fast. It looks like you're feeling really scared about getting your nails cut." Or, "Running away tells me you must be feeling really worried about talking about what happened with your sister." Or, "It seems like you really, really don't want to take that medicine. It probably tastes awful, doesn't it?" You're not saying, "Okay, fine, you don't have to do it." You are simply validating the feeling that is driving the avoidance. This simple act of naming the probable emotion can be incredibly disarming for a child. It shifts the dynamic from them feeling pursued and misunderstood to feeling seen, even in their resistance. It shows them that you're not just focused on their bad behavior, but you're trying to understand them. This is the first building block of connection in a moment of disconnect. By acknowledging the feeling without judgment, you create a tiny opening, a crack in the wall they've put up, that makes further communication and cooperation possible. Once you've offered that initial observation about their feeling, you can follow up with a brief, non-threatening statement about your intention, keeping the pressure low. Something like, "It's okay to feel scared, and we still need to figure out how to get those nails trimmed so they don't scratch." Or, "I know talking about hard things is tough, and we still need to talk so we can make things right." Or, "I get that medicine is yucky, and we still need to get it in your tummy to help you feel better." Notice the pattern. Validate feeling, state need boundary calmly. The key here is patience and regulation on your part. Don't follow them immediately into their hiding spot, demanding they come out now. Give them a tiny bit of space while remaining present and accessible. Your calm presence and attempt to understand, even from a distance, is the opposite of the chasing, demanding energy that often fuels the running. It invites them back when they're ready, rather than forcing them to engage from a place of fear or resistance. This foundational step of understanding the why and validating the feeling is critical for everything that follows. It's the difference between seeing a child as a problem to be fixed and seeing a child who needs help managing big feelings or uncomfortable situations. Building on that idea of understanding the feeling behind the behavior, the next crucial piece in this puzzle is shifting from a command and control approach in those moments to a connect and collaborate approach. When a child runs away, our instinct is often to escalate our commands. "I said, 'Come here,' or 'You are not allowed to run away from me.' This puts us squarely in a chasing dynamic where we are pursuing and the child is fleeing. This rarely results in genuine cooperation. At best, it results in temporary, grudging compliance driven by fear of consequences, not by a willingness to engage. Connection has to come before the command, or at least be present within the interaction, especially when you anticipate resistance or when resistance has already occurred, like them running. Think about it. Would you be more likely to help out a friend who rushed up barked an order at you from across the room and then got mad when you didn't immediately comply? Or would you be more receptive to someone who approached you calmly? Perhaps with a gentle touch on the arm or making eye contact, acknowledging you and the situation before making their request. When you need your child to do something they dislike or come and talk about something difficult, approaching them with warmth and presence rather than just issuing a directive can significantly change the outcome. Let's revisit the nail cutting. Instead of calling from the kitchen, "Hey, come here, I need to cut your nails," which gives them zero warning and sounds like a sudden dreaded event, you might walk over to where they are playing. Get down on their level. Make eye contact. Maybe offer a small, warm touch on their shoulder or back, if that's something they accept. Then, gently, conversationally, introduce the topic. "Hey, sweetie, you're building something amazing there. Looks really cool. Listen, I noticed your fingernails are getting a bit long, almost like little claws. Maybe a little humor if appropriate. Remember how sometimes they catch on things or scratch you? We need to give them a little trim today. Notice the difference? You connected first. You acknowledged their activity. You were present. You explained the why in a simple, relatable way, preventing scratches. You didn't just bark an order. Even if they still balk or run at this point, the interaction started from a place of connection, not just a demand. Now let's say they do run away after this gentler approach. Your response, drawing on the previous point about understanding feelings, could be, "Okay, you really don't want to do it, huh? Running away tells me this feels really hard for you." Then, instead of pursuing aggressively, maintain your calm presence nearby. Maybe sit down a few feet away. It's okay to take a moment. "I'll just sit here while you have a think. We do need to get those nails trimmed today so they don't bother you. When you're ready, I'm right here." You're inviting, not chasing. You're stating the boundary. The task still needs to happen, but offering space and time. This respects their need to escape the immediate pressure while still holding the expectation. For younger children, you might stay closer. For older children or teens who run to their room, you might say, "Okay, you can go to your room if you need a minute. I'll come knock in 5 minutes and we need to figure this out." It's giving space within the boundary of the task needing to be addressed. This connect and collaborate approach is even more vital when the child runs away from a conversation about a problem. If your child just hit their sibling and then bolted when you called them over to talk, chasing them down shouting about their behavior is likely to make them dig in deeper or become more defensive. Instead, once you've ensured the other child is safe, take a breath. Approach the bolting child calmly, or if they've hidden, find them and again, get down low. Make eye contact if possible. "Hey, I see you ran off when I asked you to come talk. It looks like you're feeling pretty upset, scared, angry right now." Validating the feeling. It's tough when big feelings happen, and it's tough when things go wrong. Empathy. We still need to talk about what happened and figure out how to make things better right. But we can do it when you feel a tiny bit calmer. "I'm here when you're ready to talk," or "I can give you 2 minutes and then we'll talk." You're not letting them avoid the conversation indefinitely, but you're acknowledging their current emotional state is making productive conversation impossible. You're offering a lifeline, a moment to gather themselves, while still clearly communicating that the conversation will happen. This models emotional regulation and problem solving much more effectively than chasing and demanding immediate compliance from an escalated state. Incorporating connection before or during moments of avoidance isn't about being permissive. It's about being effective. It's about building the relationship and the child's internal capacity to handle discomfort and challenges, rather than just forcing external compliance through power dynamics. It's a slower path sometimes, yes, but it builds a much stronger foundation of trust, and cooperation in the long run. Building on the foundation of understanding the child's feelings and prioritizing connection, our next strategy involves empowering the child and providing predictability. When a child feels powerless or caught off guard, avoidance is a natural response. They run away because they feel they have no control over the situation unfolding around them. Conversely, offering a sense of control and making expectations clear can significantly reduce the need to escape. Think about how we, as adults, feel when we're blindsided by something we dread, or when we feel completely stuck with no options. It's uncomfortable, maybe anxiety-inducing. We might not physically run away most of the time, but we might mentally check out, procrastinate, or feel resentful. Children feel this even more acutely because their world is largely controlled by adults. Empowering a child in a difficult situation doesn't mean letting them decide if the necessary task happens, but letting them have a say in how or when it happens within reasonable limits. Let's go back to those nails. Instead of it being a sudden ambush, "Come here, nails," you can offer choices and preparation. "Hey, I noticed your nails are long. We need to trim them today. Would you like to do them before lunch or right after your nap?" Choice of timing. "Okay, it's nail time. Which hand do you want to start with? This one or this one?" Choice within the task. "Do you want to sit on the couch with me or at the kitchen table?" Choice of location. "Do you want to count to 5 and then we'll do the first finger, or listen to a quick song?" Choice of distraction coping strategy. These might seem like small things, but to a child who feels overwhelmed, they are powerful. They shift the dynamic from "something is being done to me" to "I have some agency in how this happens." Even if they still feel nervous, having a choice gives them a sense of competence and respect. It says, "I see you, and I value your input where I can." Preparation is also key. Announcing a dreaded task without warning can trigger that flight response. If you know Friday is usually nail trimming day, you could mention it earlier. "Just a heads up, remember tomorrow is nail day. We'll do it after breakfast." For medicine they need daily, you can incorporate it into a routine. "Okay, it's time for toothbrushing and then medicine time." For talking about a problem, you can give a heads up. "Later this afternoon, we need to chat about what happened with your friend at the park." This predictability reduces the anxiety of the unknown and allows the child to mentally prepare. For some children, especially those who are highly sensitive or anxious, you might even need to create a visual schedule or use timers. "In 10 minutes, we'll do X." This external structure can help them manage their internal anticipation. Offering choices and preparation is not about making the task optional. It's about making the process less threatening and more collaborative. When you empower a child with choices, you are implicitly teaching them problem-solving skills and demonstrating that their comfort and preferences matter, even when faced with something difficult. When they feel they have some control and know what to expect, the urge to physically escape diminishes because the situation feels less overwhelming and less like something being imposed upon them without their input. It's about moving from a feeling of being cornered to a feeling of being a participant, however small, in navigating the challenge. This shift in dynamic can be incredibly effective in reducing the frequency and intensity of running and avoidance behaviors. Continuing our journey from understanding the why and connecting with our child, and then empowering them with choice and predictability. Our final key approach is about actively teaching them how to handle discomfort and difficult feelings without running away. Running is often a child's go-to coping mechanism because they haven't yet developed more effective strategies for managing distress, fear, or overwhelm in the moment. As their guides, part of our role is to help them build that internal toolkit. This isn't something you do while they are running away, but rather something you work on proactively, during calm moments, and then remind them of when challenging situations arise. It involves helping them identify their feelings and teaching them practical skills to regulate those feelings when they start to bubble up. Let's consider the feeling of fear or anxiety about something like getting a shot at the doctor, or even just the anticipation of nail cutting or yucky medicine. When that fear starts to build, some children feel it physically, maybe a flutter in their tummy, tense shoulders, or a racing heart. Running is an attempt to escape those uncomfortable physical and emotional sensations. We can help them by teaching them to notice these signals and giving them tools other than escape. One simple tool is deep breathing. You can practice this together when things are calm. Let's practice our dragon breaths. Breathe in through nose, exhale forcefully like a dragon. Or smell the flower, blow out the candle. Make it playful. Then when a stressful moment approaches, okay, it's almost time for your medicine, you can cue them. Remember our dragon breaths? Let's do 3 dragon breaths together before you take it. This gives them a concrete, active thing to do with their body and breath to manage the rising anxiety, rather than just reacting by running. Another tool is teaching them to use their words, not just their feet. Running away is often a non-verbal communication that says, "I don't like this," "I'm scared," or "I need space." We need to give them the actual words. Again, practice this when calm. When you feel like running away because you don't like something, what could you say instead? Could you say, "I don't like this," or "I'm scared," or "I need a minute"? Role play it. Make it normal to express these feelings verbally. And in the moment, once they've stopped running and are able to hear you, or before they run if you catch the signs, you can prompt them. If they start to back away as you approach with the nail clippers, you might say, "Whoa, I see you backing up. You're feeling scared, aren't you?" Can you use your words to tell me how you're feeling instead of running? You can say, "I'm scared to get my nails cut." Once they use the words, you can validate and problem solve together. Yes, you are scared. I hear you. What could help you feel a little braver right now? This opens the door for collaboration, maybe a distraction, holding your hand, going super slow, doing just one nail at a time, putting on their favorite show. This collaborative problem-solving around difficult tasks is a powerful tool. Instead of it being you versus them, it becomes you with them, tackling a challenge together. For the child who runs when called to talk about misbehavior, teaching them to say, "I need a minute before I can talk," is a huge step. It shows respect for their need to regulate while still committing to the necessary conversation. You can respond, "Okay, you can have 3 minutes to take some deep breaths in your room, and then we will talk on the couch." You're setting a boundary around the avoidance, can't avoid indefinitely, while teaching and allowing a more appropriate coping strategy, taking space to regulate. This approach also involves modeling. How do you handle it when you feel overwhelmed, frustrated, or want to avoid something difficult? Do you take a moment, name your feelings, or do you lash out or shut down? Our children are watching and learning from us all the time. Narrate your own process sometimes. "Wow, I am feeling really frustrated right now because the internet isn't working. I feel like slamming something. I'm going to take a few deep breaths before I call the company." Teaching coping skills and problem solving is a long-term investment. It requires patience, repetition, and consistency. There will still be times they run, and in those moments, we return to our first steps. Pause, regulate ourselves, try to understand the feeling, reconnect calmly, restate the boundary or need, and gently guide them back towards using their words or other coping strategies they're learning. It's a process of layering these approaches, always returning to connection and understanding as the foundation, while gradually building their capacity to face discomfort and challenges head-on, rather than fleeing from them. Over time, as they gain these skills and trust that you are there to support them, running away becomes a less necessary and less frequent response. As we wrap up our conversation today, let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Navigating those moments when our children run away or avoid feels intensely personal and can trigger so many of our own frustrations and fears as parents. We worry if they'll ever listen, if they understand respect, if we're doing a good job. Remember, this journey we've talked about, shifting from chasing to connecting, from demanding to understanding, from overpowering to empowering, it's not about finding a magic fix that eliminates all challenging behaviors overnight. Children are complex little beings with big feelings and a lot to learn about the world and about themselves. There will still be moments of frustration, of resistance, of wanting to just escape whatever feels hard in the moment. What we've explored together today is about building something deeper, a foundation of trust, connection, and mutual respect that can withstand the inevitable bumps in the road. It's about seeing the behavior not just as defiance, but as communication. It's about teaching our children the skills they need to navigate discomfort, manage their emotions, and face challenges with a little more bravery and a little less fear. This is not easy work. It requires us as parents to pause our own reactive instincts, to regulate our own emotions when our child's behavior triggers us, and to respond with intention rather than just reaction. It requires patience, consistency, and a whole lot of self-compassion. You will not get it right every single time, and that is perfectly okay. Every moment is a new opportunity to try again, to learn alongside your child. Know that you are not alone in facing these challenges. So many of us have experienced that feeling of being left standing there as our child runs off. By choosing to respond with understanding, connection, empowerment, and skill building, you are not just managing a difficult behavior. You are actively shaping your child's emotional intelligence, their capacity for resilience, and strengthening the bond between you. You are giving them tools that will serve them far beyond getting their nails cut or taking medicine. Tools for navigating all of life's uncomfortable moments. This journey of connection and growth is what the Family Connection Hub is all about. We're here to share ideas, offer support, and build a community where we can all learn and grow together. If this conversation resonated with you, if you found some ideas that feel helpful, please consider giving this video a like. Your likes help us know what topics are most valuable to you and help these ideas reach other families who might be struggling with similar challenges. Share this video with another parent or caregiver you know who might benefit from hearing this perspective. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the Family Connection Hub channel. Joining our community means you won't miss out on future videos where we explore more real-life parenting scenarios with practical, compassionate approaches. Thank you for showing up, for doing the hard work of parenting, and for your commitment to building stronger, more connected families. Keep going. You've got this, and we're here for you every step of the way.